My favorite part about the Dodgers beating the hell out of San Diego? Denial by the Padres and their fans. What does Trevor Bauer have in common with a star of That 70s Show? Here's a hint, it's not dating Mila Kunis. And the LA Sparks sleep in an airport, wondering what the hell they're doing with their lives. Good morning, I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and start for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is Faithful Angelenos. It's August 8th, 2022. And I'm by myself for another day or so while the wife is out of town. You may be saying, hey, James, do you miss anything about your wife? Couple of things. I want to start off by thanking the new subscribers who have joined the channel. I appreciate every last one of you. If you like the content we've been putting out about LA sports, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notifications bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we put out new clips. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment. I'm going to wind up sniffing that thing if I don't get enough new friends on this thing. I'm telling you. Now, before we get to the news and notes, let's take a quick look at the scoreboard. Cody Bellinger hit 2 home runs last night, including one where Juan Soto was literally praying for the ball to stay into the yard. Didn't happen. Dodgers 4, Padres 0. Tyler Anderson improves to 13-1. The Dodgers have a 15.5 game lead in the NL West, an 8-game winning streak, and today get a well-deserved day off. Meanwhile, the LA Sparks, they defeated Washington 79-76. That snapped a 6-game losing streak. The Sparks have 3 games left in the WNBA season. They are 1.5 games out of the final playoff spot. Now, again, they beat the hell out of the Padres. And honestly, I take more pleasure when they do that almost as much as when they beat the Giants. Because you see, San Diego has this ridiculous false sense of superiority. It's a nice looking town, but just because you have a nice zoo, just because you have a killer whale in a good pool, doesn't make you better than LA. It doesn't make you a better sports town. LA is a far better sports town because, among other things, we stole 2 of your teams. Actually, we didn't even steal them. They didn't want to be there anymore because you didn't like them. And to be honest, we don't really like the Clippers either that much, okay? But they came because they knew you were not a good sports town. But it never fails. Every time the Padres come up here and the Dodgers beat the living hell out of them, they always go through, they don't even go through the 5 stages of grief. They never go through, they never reach acceptance. They don't bargain. They're not going through depression. They simply go through denial and anger over and over and over again. Look at the quotes after the sweep. Manny Machado, are you concerned? Why would I be concerned? Not at all. I'm effing Manny Machado. Denial. Denial. That's the guy who promised San Diego to bring him a World Series championship before the Dodgers would, quote, ever get one. I guess not. I guess not. Will Myers, quote, I think we put too much emphasis on this team. You almost just have to play this team like it's another blue team, whether it's the Royals or the Blue Jays. Come on, man. I realize that a lot of hallucinogens you can get away with taking when you're in California, right? But you could smoke a farm full of mushrooms, and that'll never convince you that Mookie Betts is Hunter Dozier. Stop it. It's not true. You're not good enough. Accept it at some point. The Dodgers, meanwhile, do have news. Relief pitcher Yency Almonte, he's going on the IL with right elbow tightness. They don't know how bad it is. He's going to get an MRI today. Also in the bullpen, Brusdar Graterol and Blake Trinan. They'll have simulated games to pitch on Tuesday. Things go well. Rehab assignments should come next. Dave Roberts says Justin Turner could be back with the team on Tuesday. By the way, hat tip to the Chicago Cubs regarding a very sweet tribute that they gave to the late Vin Scully. Now, the Cubs, they also, as we all know, lost a long-time announcer a few years ago, decade or so ago, in Harry Carey. Kerry's big kick was to sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game with the fans at the 7th inning stretch. After Kerry died, celebrities would come into town and they would sing it to the fans as well. And they let Scully do it, and Scully did a tremendous job. They kept the videotape. It's very sweet, very charming. Take a look at it on YouTube. Very nice tribute. We also have a Trevor Bauer update. Now, his appeal of a 2-year suspension by Major League Baseball, his appeal is going to last after the World Series. And as a result, his lawyer has asked for another rape trial involving a celebrity to be put off so that she can handle the case with Trevor Bauer. Now, to be clear, Trevor Bauer's case never went to court. It was thrown out. Bauer was suspended anyway for the 2 years because the commissioner has the right to do so. Do I have an opinion? Not really. I don't want to get sued. Trevor Bauer loves him some court. I don't want to get sued. And I wasn't in that room anyway, so who the hell am I? The trial, by the way, that the lawyer is asked to having be delayed is for Danny Masterson, who's an actor who was a regular on That 70s Show. His claim to fame, he didn't hook up with the tall, curvy, redheaded chick. Bauer's appeal, well, like I said, I'm not a lawyer and I wasn't there. But it always makes me wonder, right? Because of this the whole sexual assault accusation thing. Because people ask me all the time in the NFL, who has the better defense? Is it the Rams that have the better defense? Is it the Chargers that have the better defense? And I tell them all, no, the best defense in the NFL is Deshaun Watson's legal team. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Tip your waitress. The LA Sparks, after defeating Washington last night, wound up sleeping in an airport because their flight was canceled. There were not enough hotel rooms available. My understanding, it was for the annual delegation of lobbyists looking to get more STD meds for Asia. But the news actually exposed a few things. I mean, the first thing for me is I fly a lot for work. You'll see me in Omaha, Nebraska by the end of the week. Most canceled flights I get, they're at coastal airports. It's never in the Midwest. I've had a flight get canceled in Washington, so I know exactly where they are and what happened. The other thing it would tell me is that the WNBA ought to consider moving their teams to smaller cities. For reals. If you think about it, they don't draw in a lot of these big cities. They don't draw in New York. They don't draw in Washington. We don't even think they draw in LA anymore. Consider admitting being a small-time league. Because I'm not that sympathetic, okay? Just because you're WNBA doesn't mean you get nothing but high perks across the board. I ran into the San Antonio Spurs G League team at DFW Airport in North Texas. They had the same problem. They were trying to fly to Des Moines, Iowa. The thing I do have a problem with is this is going to be spun as some sort of a Title IX issue, and it's not. You know, like, oh, if you paid us enough, Brittany Griner wouldn't be in a Russian prison. If you paid us enough, this wouldn't happen. My problem is not that, okay? I don't want Brittany Griner in a Russian prison any more than most people do. I do believe that the punishment absolutely does not fit the crime in the slightest, right? And I don't care about whether or not she stands or kneels for the national anthem. She doesn't belong in a Russian prison, in my arrogant little opinion. But that is not my fault. And there's a lot of journalists who are trying to make it sound as if it's my fault because I don't support the WNBA enough. The WNBA has been around for a couple of decades, and it still doesn't have an audience to support what the players want. That is not my fault. That actually is on women. Yeah, it is. It is not my responsibility to support you just because you exist. There's teams that I even love that I have trouble supporting right now. I love the LA Galaxy. I'm not supporting them for the rest of the year. Not with money. Not until they get rid of Chris Klein. So your audience, by the way, isn't even me. Your audience, WNBA, is women. And if women do not want to support the WNBA, it is not my fault that you slept on a carpet. It isn't. Clickbait thirst trap types are trying to gin up support for an Anthony Davis trade out of LA. Now, I don't doubt for a moment that every other team in the NBA would love to have Anthony Davis. I don't doubt they would love to have Anthony Davis, but that doesn't make it reality. I'm sure John Hinckley wishes he knew Jodie Foster was a lesbian before he bought the gun, right? Didn't work out that way. And neither will an Anthony Davis trade. Neither one of those two scenarios is based in reality. Clickbait thirst trap bloggers, shut the hell up. Anthony Davis is not going anywhere. Stop it. There's a reason blockbuster trades do not happen in the NBA that often. Oh yeah, we want to trade for Anthony Davis. What do you got? Well, we're not going to give you our superstar for Anthony. Click. It's the same story. That's why all those Kyrie Irving trades don't amount to squat. Clickbait bullcrap. Bill Barnwell of ESPN, he decided to write, what is the Achilles heel of every team that has a legit chance to win the Super Bowl? And that includes both LA teams. The Rams have an Achilles heel, according to him, and it's running back. Now, he may have a point with his Achilles heel for both LA teams. See, his point with running back for the Rams is, does Cam Akers, no doubt Cam Akers busted his butt to get back onto the field, but can he be an every down back anymore? We don't know yet, because he wasn't even that effective after he came back from injury. He says he's 100%, but we don't know that yet. We have to see it on the field. And if he's not, the Rams have a problem. Meanwhile, the Achilles heel for the the LA Chargers, my bad. The Achilles heel for the LA Chargers, linebacker. Yeah. Here's the rationale. You look at Kenneth Murray, he was the 23rd overall pick, but it hasn't panned out for him yet. Matter of fact, if my recollection is correct, he was injured going into the start of training camp. Sure, they signed Kyle Van Noy, but we don't know if he's going to be effective for the Chargers in a defense that's not run by Bill Belichick. They signed Troy Reeder as a free agent, but there was a reason that the Rams let Troy Reeder go. He basically allowed he missed too many tackles. That's why he was a free agent. So, do the Chargers have enough? We know they have edge rushers. We know they rebuilt their defensive line. They like that. We know that they added a ton to the defensive backfield. But do they have enough at linebacker? Now, if you're a Chargers fan, you let me know, is that your Achilles heel? Because I'm going to tell you, I am curious to see if Cam Akers can recover and be the back he was before he blew out his Achilles. Now, if you enjoyed today's broadcast, don't forget to like and subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We are trying to build something here for LA Sports. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corta El Queso production. Take care.